Perfect.
Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of CodeCrewTV. This is episode 5. So today we're going to be focusing on creating characters with our code in Scratch and making those characters do stuff. So we have all of the usual segments for you. So we're going to have vocab with Maddie. We're going to have a tech demo with Martarius and Ladarius. We're going to have an unplugged activity with Brittany. And then we're going to have our main lesson where we're going to focus on coding stuff in Scratch. So that is what's coming up. So please make sure that you visit our website, which is CodeCrew.tv. There you can find links to all the resources that we use. You can find links to our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a TikTok, so go and do the Code Crew Challenge. I literally can't do it, so I would love to see other people do it. So yeah, that's what we have coming up. So sit tight and we will get going.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's review some important words from the previous episode. Recently, we learned about loops, events, and iterations. A loop is a sequence of instructions that is continually repeated until a condition is met. An event is a user or system action detected by a software program. An iteration is when a set of instructions are repeated a specific number of times or until a condition is met. Now let's add a few new words to the vocab log. The first word is remix. It is a modified or shared version of an uploaded project. In this lesson, you will be using a feature called Backpack. It is found at the bottom of the Scratch project editor, and it can be used to remix projects. Lastly, stage is the background of the project. We will be using these three terms to program the characters to behave certain actions. Let's get started.
All right, everybody, so let's get started with our code for today. So today we're going to focus on creating characters with our code. So creating characters involves, choosing a sprite and then, giving that sprite some kind of, personality, behavior, actions, that kind of stuff. So what I've done is I've just created a new project here. And I replaced Scratch the Cat with our friend Sara. And I chose a basic backdrop. I think this one's called Blue Sky. So that we can teach Sara how to do some things. So, all right. So right now we've got Sara. Let's put her right in the center, from left to right. And I put Sara at -90 for the Y value so that it looks like she's standing on the ground. So, okay, what we want to do is we want to make it look like Sara is jumping, okay? That is what we want Sara to do. So we just want her to jump at the very beginning of our program. And remember that we start our program by clicking this go flag. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go into events because events kick everything off. And we want to grab this when the green flag is clicked button. Okay, because we want Sara to jump as soon as we tell our program to go. So, all right, let's take a look at our motion options, okay? Because we want Sara to to go up and then come back down. So in order to make that happen, the property that we want to work with is our y. Okay, so as our y value gets bigger, so I'm going to make this, let's say 150. So our sprite goes up as that y gets bigger, and our sprite goes down as the y gets smaller. So if I put Sara back at -90, she comes back down to the ground. So our 0 is right in the center. So if you have taken a geometry class, or if you have done anything with graphs in your math classes, then you should be familiar with with like a grid system, a coordinate system. So I'll show you. If I put Sara right at 0, 0, that puts her right in the middle, and that would be called the origin in math, right? So because we want Sara to be below that point, we need our y to be a negative number. All right, so we end up with -90. So in order to jump, we want Sara to go up a certain number of pixels and then come back down to where it started. So let's see. We've got a move block right here. So, but that's going to move Sara a certain number of steps. So I think what we actually want is we want to find a block that's going to change the y value. So let's look for that. So we have some go-tos. We have glide. We have point in direction. Okay, and here we have some change blocks. So let's see what happens. I'm going to put this here, and we're going to say change y by, and let's put in a positive number because we know that positive is going to make Sara go up. Let's say 50. All right, and let's just test this. Let's see if this does what we want it to. So when I click on the green flag, I expect Sara to go up by 50 pixels. All right, and that's exactly what happened. So I clicked this button, Sara went up, and that's cool. So we've got the first part of this taken care of. Let me just put Sara back down. So, going up is only half of jumping though, right? Because we have to come back down. So what we want to do is we want to change y again, this time by a negative number. So we want to say change y. And we want Sara to go right back to where she started from. So let's say -50. Let's see what happens. All right, so I'm hitting the green flag, and I don't actually see anything happening, right? But we know that before we added this, Sara was actually going up. So maybe it's like what we saw in a previous episode. If you recall, we were making Scratch rotate, and we wanted Scratch to do a complete flip. So we were rotating Scratch by 90 degrees 4 times, which is a complete rotation. And it looked like Scratch wasn't actually moving at all. And that's because the computer was running the instructions so quickly that it just looked like nothing was happening at all. And that's pretty much what's happening here. So we can see, I'll put Sara back where she goes. All right. And reattach this block right here. So when I run this, so we can't see it because it's happening too fast, but Sara actually is going up and coming back down. It's just happening too quickly for us to be able to see. So what we need to do is we need to put a pause in there. So we're going to go to control, which is where the wait block lives. And we're going to put a wait in between these two things. So basically, I'm going to have Sara wait half a second before coming back down. So Sara's going to go up, wait half a second, and then come back down. So when we do this, what we should see is an actual jump, right? Up and then down. So let's see. Hey, that looks pretty good. So that is the first part of what we're going to do today. All right, we're going to build on this. We're actually going to have Sara jump at 2 different heights. And eventually we're going to create our own custom blocks. All right, but for now, we're going to pause here. And then when we come back, we're going to teach Sara how to jump even higher than this.
Hello, welcome back to another tech review. This is the EV3 Lego Mindset. This is just one of the models that you can make. You can make many different things. This is the Gyro Boy. You can make a color sorter. You can make a puppy program description. You can make a robot arm program. You can even build stuff for school, like a color sensor that's going downward, or a color sensor that's going forward, or a gyro sensor, or even a motor driving base.
That's nice. That's nice.
These are just a couple of things you can build. You can build your own contraptions if you got enough information, if you know how to put the pieces together, if you have enough knowledge on this particular set, because they're different sets, and this is just the EV3. This is an older set, so it's there. You can make even more with the more up-to-date set. So what this big pad is right here, this big keypad, this is what you use to program everything onto the robot. It is.
I have a question.
Mm.
So essentially, this is a Lego product, correct? Because I can see the Lego model in
Yes.
the corner. So this is a programmable robot overall that you can build yourself.
Yes.
Okay,
And you
that's
can
nice.
also program it yourself too. So
Okay.
this back piece here, this is the battery. It doesn't come with the battery, but you can purchase the battery, and it's rechargeable. Because if you don't have the battery, you would have to use AA. So with this, let me get this back in here. So with that being said, there's many different features that you can utilize on this in particular. This Gyro Boy is capable of moving around and using the sensors on it to detect an object in front of it to give it a specific command to do. You could also do the same thing with a more simple model, because this model is intended for 2 people to create. This wouldn't be something that's just a solo project, so
Sounds
you'd
perfect
have to have a partner.
Sounds great for us.
It does sound great. It's fun. I had a lot of fun building this also. And the thing I found interesting is you can code it to do what you want it to do. And you can also control it using the controller. So you're not just limited to making it do certain movements ahead of time. You can do it in real time. You can make it do movements that you want in that second. And it also comes with, let's see if I can fit this in here, a lot of pieces. Comes with a lot of pieces.
Wow.
Somebody who's a klutz like myself, losing pieces and stuff, it happens. They also have the wheels up here as a replacement. So they have plenty of replacement pieces, which is great.
You can get very creative with it.
You
from what I'm
can.
telling
Yes,
Very
you
creative.
can. You can create a lot of different things.
Okay, nice.
And also, there's also a website that was made by Lego themselves where you can get individual pieces. So if you're missing, like, let's say, just a certain piece, like you're missing one piece that you really need for whatever you're building, you don't have to go buy a whole set and then spend like $30 extra on something that you just really don't need. You can get the individual pieces. So what I want to go over right now is how this thing moves. Now I'm going to show you how it moves in the next episode. Ooh, little piece came off. But I'll show you how it moves in the next episode because it's not currently charged right now. When you do have it charged, it will have a little face right here. Have two little eyes right here. Here you can see it. You press this power button right here, turns it right on. And the port in the back where you charge it, it's get this in the camera. It's right here. Tiny little port. Now the charger that comes with this is sold separately. So that's something you would have to go and shop for afterwards. But overall, I say it's pretty fun because you have just so many different things you can do with it. What do you think, Martarius? You like the versatility of it? You say?
The versatility of it makes it look really, really fun. The fact that you can do so much and make it move depending on what you put with it. I love stuff with creativity, so this looks like a very fun project for people to work on, in my personal opinion.
I'll say that's definitely like the biggest highlight of this. Like the whole thing is just you can do anything you want to with it. And we're gonna actually in later episodes build some different stuff, show you a couple of different models, and have fun with those. But we'll see you in the next episode when we actually show you this thing running.
Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. See you later.
Goodbye.
Welcome back. So, as promised, we are going to teach Sarah how to do a high jump as well as her regular jump. But first, what I want to do is kind of refine this current jump that we're working with. So, I think we can make this a little bit more interesting, a little bit more dynamic. And in order to do that, what I would like to do is kind of change her look as she's jumping. Because right now, when we hit go, let me see. Oh, I disconnected this. That's why it's not working. So right now when we hit go, Sarah goes up and comes back down. But I think we can make this a little more lively. All right, so we're going to go to costumes and take a look at what we have to work with. So we have this costume. We've got this one, and this one. So in order to make this kind of dynamic, what we're going to do is we're going to have her change costumes while she's jumping. All right, so she's going to start with this look, and then up in the air, she'll look like this, and then come back down like that. All right, so let's go to code. And we are changing something about her appearance, so we will go to looks. And we're going to use this switch costume block. Okay, so switch costume. So at the very beginning, we want to switch to that last costume, which is 2D. And then at the end, we want to switch back to what she starts at. Okay, so let's test this. So what I predict when I run this is that Sarah will change her look. She'll go up 50 pixels, come back down, and then change her look again. And let's see if that's what happens. So that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. So this just makes it a little more animated, a little more lively. So you may notice that I have another sprite down here. We're going to work with that in just a second. We'll get to that. But right now I have hidden this sprite. So as we said, we're going to teach Sarah how to do a different kind of jump. But in order to actually use this jump, what I want to do is, rather than having her jump right when go is clicked, I want her to wait until I hit a specific key on my keyboard. So we're going to go into events. So remember that an event is something that takes place in a program. So it can either be triggered by the user, which is the person who is using your program, or it can be triggered by something inside of your program, like a timer, or something else like loudness. Okay, so we want to wait for a specific key to be pressed. So we're going to use this block right here. And I'm going to use the A key. All right, so Sara is on the left side of the screen. You can see I changed her X value a little bit. Originally, we had her X value at 0, which put her right in the center of the screen. I changed it to negative 150 because we are going to introduce another character. So, so that just scoots her over to the left, because remember that the further left we go, the smaller our X value gets. The further right we go, the bigger our X value gets. And since 0 is right in the middle, we're going to be in the negative numbers in order to move her further left. So, okay. So when the A key is pressed, I want her to do this regular jump. Okay. And then let's have, we can call it like a super jump, right? And let's do that when we, so we have the S key right next to the A key. So let's choose that. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of duplicate these. I want to duplicate these blocks right here. And in order to kind of move these around, what I can do is I can open up my backpack. All right. Looks like I had some old code in here. I'm going to delete that. So your backpack in Scratch works a lot like your backpack that you have in real life, except it does something even cooler. So just like you can, put something in your backpack and take it to school, and then, it might be your lunch or a snack or a book or something like that. Then you can take it out once you get to school. You can do the same thing with your backpack in Scratch. But what's really cool is that it actually makes a copy of the thing that you put into your backpack. So if I take this code right here and I put it in my backpack, it's going to put it there, but it's going to stay right here too, which is nice because I wanted this to stay right here. All right. I didn't want to lose that. So that is really handy for me. So now what I'm going to do is I want to make this super jump. So I'm going to take this code and I'm going to put it back in here. And for some reason, it always puts it like way up there, which is not super handy, but that's okay. And now I'm going to take it and I'm going to attach it to my S event. All right, so now we have two pieces of code that do exactly the same thing when different keys are pressed. But I want this piece of code right here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. I want this piece of code to be a super jump. I want Sara to go even higher. So my question is, like, what part of this am I going to change? All right. I don't want to change what costume she changes into. I don't really want to change how long she waits up at the top. In order to be a super jump, I really just want her to change how high she goes. So how much is her Y position going to change, her Y property? So we want her to go higher. So let's make this bigger. And we need to make this number match. Oopsie. We need to make this number match so that she comes back down. All right, so let's test this. So now, instead of something happening when we hit the go flag, right, nothing happens, I have to hit A in order to do a regular jump. So I know you can't see my keyboard, but I'm hitting the A key right now. All right, and I will hit the S key for a super jump. All right, so that looks pretty good. Regular, super, regular, super. All right. So now let's teach another character how to do this. So we are going to introduce this sprite. This is Peppercorn. So Peppercorn is my cat. And so he's going to hang out with Sara here. And we want to teach Peppercorn how to jump, just like we taught Sara how to jump. So what we want to do is let's look at Sara's code. So I'm going to click on Sara again and let's look in here. So I could go back and forth, right? So I could say, all right, I need a when A key pressed block and I might go over here and grab that, then go back here and go to the next thing, but that's going to take a really, really, really long time. So we already know about a really cool tool that's going to help us work smarter rather than harder, and that is our backpack. So we already have our regular jump stored in our backpack. Now we just want to store our super jump in there too. All right, so we have our regular jump and our super jump. Let's go back to Peppercorn. And now let's decide what key do we want to assign to Peppercorn's regular jump and super jump. So Peppercorn's on the right side of the keyboard. So I think it makes sense to choose something that's on the right side of the keyboard. So I'm looking at like K and L. Because if we look at what options we have, we really only have our arrow keys and letters and numbers. So let's say that we want to do K for our regular jump. Oh, it looks like I put our super jump in first. So, because this is 100 pixels. So let's grab this one instead. So K is going to be our regular jump for Peppercorn. And L will be our regular, or our super jump for Peppercorn. So let's go in here. Let's choose L and attach these. All right, so now what should happen is when I hit K, Peppercorn should do a regular jump, and when I hit L, Peppercorn should do a super jump. So K, L, K, L. All right, so we have taught Peppercorn how to go up and come back down, but there is a small piece of the puzzle that's not quite there yet. So remember how we have Sara changing her look part of the way through, right? Just to kind of make it more lively, make it more dynamic. So we can do the same for Peppercorn. So if you aren't aware, you can actually upload custom pictures to use as your sprites. So that is how I created this. So when you go to add a new sprite, you've got some options. So you can choose a sprite from their library of sprites, and they do have a lot of fun stuff there. We've seen this before. This is how we found our dinosaurs last time. Right there. We can also paint. So if I want to, like if I were an artist, or I just wanted to have some fun, then I could come in here and play around with these tools that they have. I could also, I could choose surprise. So surprise can really, that can get you some fun results. Let's see what we get if we hit surprise. So we got a pterodactyl, or a pteranodon. I don't know the difference. So we got that this time, but if we do it again, we'll get something different. So if you are just not sure what you want to play around with, then you can do a surprise sprite. We'll get rid of these because we don't need them right now. And another option is to upload a sprite. All right, so that's what I did. I uploaded, I had this picture of Peppercorn, and I kind of cut out all the extra stuff that was around him. And then I uploaded this picture of him to use as this costume. And then once you create a custom sprite, you can make as many costumes as you want. So I found another picture of Peppercorn, and I cut out all the extra stuff around him. I didn't really get everything, but I cut out quite a bit. And so this is the second costume for Peppercorn. So because we have two costumes, we can kind of make him look a little more lively when he's jumping. All right, just like we did with Sara. So let's go back to our code for Peppercorn. So what I want to change, rather than switching his costume to Dinosaur 2D, which is a costume he doesn't have, we're going to switch it to PC2. Because if we look here, PC2 is the one that kind of looks like he's in the air. All right, and then we want to change back to PC Sprite. And we'll do the same thing here. So PC2, PC Sprite. All right. So let's test this. So I'm going to hit K. And I'm going to hit L. There we go. So this is working exactly the way we want. So now they can kind of jump opposite each other. And another thing I could do, so if I wanted to make it look like they were kind of facing each other, so you have some editing tools in here. So I could go into costumes, and I could take a look at PC2, and I could flip this horizontally. Right, so now it kind of looks like he's facing Sara. So let's test this out. So I'm gonna hit K for jumping, L for super jump. And so now they're kind of like, kind of looking at each other. So, all right. So what we have accomplished so far is we have gotten a lot of practice using the backpack, which is really, really handy because a lot of times in code we've got different pieces of our program that do really similar things. And we don't want to type everything out every single time, or we don't want to have to pull every individual block out every single time. And that is where the backpack is really, really handy. So when you're working with text, you might be familiar with copying and pasting. So the backpack is really similar to that if you have ever done copying and pasting before. So we are going to pause here. All right, and when we come back, we're going to add even more stuff to our little program here. All right.
Hello everyone, and welcome back for another Unplugged activity. Today's activity is going to be about how computers operate. Just like we speak different languages, computer has their own language called coding or programming. There are different programming languages such as Python, JavaScript, C++, HTML, and the list goes on. Every piece of technology we use today has to be programmed in a certain way, like a calculator, game system, cell phone, or even a car. Programming is the way computers and humans communicate. The humans communicate to the computer by giving certain instructions to perform certain tasks. So with that being said, that's what we're going to be doing today. I'll be giving instructions to draw a picture without looking. Let's get started. Okay, here we have Miss Tiffany Smith Blue and her son Eugene Blue. Today they're going to be basically playing as computers, and they're going to be following my instructions, blindfolded and their eyes closed, to draw a picture. So go ahead, put your blindfold on and close your eyes. And let's get started. Place your right hand to the far left of your paper. Okay. Now move over 2 seconds. 1, 2. Place your pen down and draw a circle. Okay. Pick your pen up and move to the right for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to go down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Place your pen down and draw a line going down for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now go to the right for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go up for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go to the left for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we're going to go up to the left diagonally for 5 seconds. So we're going to draw slanted wise, going up to the left for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And go down to the left for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pick your pen up and go to the left for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, Draw a circle. Pick your pen up and go down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Put your pen down and draw a line going down for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Go to the right for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Go up for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Go to the left for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Pick your pen up and move to the right for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Put your pen down. Draw a line going down for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Go to the right for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Go up for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Go to the left for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Pick your pen up and go down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Put your pen down. Draw a line going down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Go to the right for 2 seconds. 1, 2.
Welcome back. All right, so we are going to wrap things up here with Sara and Peppercorn. So what we've done so far is we have taught both of them how to jump and super jump, and we have attached those actions to keyboard events. So when the user types A or S, then Sara will jump or super jump, and when the user types K or L, then Peppercorn will jump or super jump. So what we're going to do next is we are going to add some dialogue. All right, so we want these characters to like say hello to each other when this starts, because this is very character driven, right? We're kind of making a comic of sorts. So what we're going to do is we're going to have them say hello to each other when we first start the program. So what we can do is we're going to listen for the go flag to be clicked. And we're going to have Peppercorn say something. All right. So he'll say hello for 2 seconds. And then we'll switch over to Sara. And we'll do the same thing. So we'll say when the green flag is clicked or the go flag is clicked, then we want to say hello for 2 seconds. All right. So let's test this and let's see what happens. Okay. So they both said hello and our jumps work. So the jumps work. That's great. I think I do have a criticism of this though, which is that they're both saying hello at the same time. So, typically when you greet someone, you say hello and then they respond back to you, or it's the other way around. But generally, you don't both say hello at the same time. So what can we do to fix that? So I think that what we can do is we can put a wait in here. All right, so we're going to say, we're going to let Peppercorn say hello first, and then we're going to have Sara say hello. Okay, so in order to make that happen, we're going to tell Sara to wait 2 seconds and then respond Peppercorn. Okay, so this 2 seconds will give him enough time to say hello, and then she can respond back to him. So let's test that. So he says hello, and she says hello. All right. So we could actually keep going with this. So we could continue adding more and more, more and more conversation blocks in here. So let's go back to Peppercorn. And let's practice something. So I would like for us to
make a custom block. Okay, so let's make a custom block. And a custom block is, so in some programming languages, these are called functions. In some, they're called methods. They can also be called procedures. But basically, it's just a way of taking a bunch of instructions and storing them under a certain name in the program's memory. So I often think of it like, doing chores. So, if someone tells you to go do the dishes, they don't list every single step of doing the dishes. So at some point you are taught how to do the dishes, maybe turn on the water, get the soap, rinse off the dishes, etc., etc. But the next time you're told to do the dishes, that person probably just says, go do the dishes, right? So that is like a custom block that's been stored in your program memory. So we're doing that here. So we are going to give this, a name. So we're going to say greeting and say okay. And now we're going to store that instruction inside of our greeting block. So now, when I hit this, Peppercorn's not actually going to say anything because we've taught the computer, we've taught our program how to do a greeting. But as you can see, we never actually told greeting to happen. So what we have to do is we have to grab one of these blocks right here and attach it to our event. So let's try that one more time. And now that we have our block attached right here, now Peppercorn says hello. So this is kind of like, I guess tying your shoes, right, would be another example where you were taught how to do it. And now I can just say tie your shoes and you do it, right? But knowing how to do it doesn't mean that you will just do it. Sometimes someone has to tell you, hey, your shoes are untied. You probably want to tie your shoes. So that's what we're doing here. So our program knows how to do it, just like you know how to tie your shoes. And then we are telling it when to happen. So we'll test it one more time. Peppercorn says hello. Sara says hello back. It's all good. So let's say that we want Peppercorn to respond back to Sara. How would we make that happen? So we want him to say something, then listen to her, and then say something back. So let's see. So how long are we telling Sara to speak for? Let's find that. Okay, so Sara is speaking for 2 seconds as well. So now we'll tell Peppercorn to wait. So we'll say wait 2 seconds. And then we'll tell him to say something else. So maybe he'll ask, like, how are you? All right, so let's test this. He says hello, she says hello, and now he says, how are you? So this opens up a lot of possibilities for us. So you could have entire scripted conversations back and forth. So you could develop your own, cartoon, essentially, your own kind of ongoing story if you wanted to, with code. So I think one of the really cool things about Scratch is the way that it can intersect with so many of your other interests. So coding is it's a tool that can help you get some really cool things done. So if you're interested in creative writing, if you're interested in art, if you're interested in music, there's a lot of stuff here that you can make happen with code. So we just have the very beginning of a story here. But imagine what could happen. So if you are familiar with like choose your own adventure type things, you could do something like that, where you could tell the user to type a certain letter in order to, choose one path or the other one. You could have all sorts of really interesting things happen. So yeah, a lot of times people think that coding is just about sitting at a desk and thinking about math and engineering all day. And sometimes that is what coding is. And if you love those things, then you should definitely pursue that. But there are also a lot of ways to incorporate art and music and literature and creative writing into coding as well. So coding can be used as a tool to make really cool things happen. So I'm going to leave this here for now. All right. So today we accomplished a lot. We learned about the backpack. We learned how to make a custom block. We learned how to incorporate custom sprites, and we learned how to change costumes when we're having our characters do things. So I think we did a lot of really cool things today. I like that we're kind of leaving on it's kind of open-ended, right? This is the beginning of our conversation between our two characters. And now what you can do is you can go and remix this. I'm going to put it up on CodeCrewTV. You can remix it, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So there are endless possibilities with what we have here. So we're going to wrap this up, and then we will move on to the next thing, where I'll share all of our social media links and wrap things up for today.
Thank you so much for joining us for our 5th episode of CodeCrewTV. Be sure to visit our website, CodeCrew.tv. We're also on Facebook at CodeCrewOrg. We are on Twitter at _CodeCrew, and we're also on Instagram at the same name. All right, so this handy dandy QR code will take you to our website, where we also have links to all of our socials as well. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. It really was a pleasure. If you have any questions, reach out to us on one of our social media pages. Thank you so much.